Welcome to The High Ground, a Star Wars Shatterpoint podcast.
Hello and welcome back to The High Ground, a Shatterpoint podcast brought to you by the Fifth Trooper Network. I'm Mike. I'm here with Evan. How you doing today, man?
Great. How you doing?
I'm good. I finally got my entire core set assembled, not painted. You're obviously way ahead of me.
I just grueled myself. So I've got everything. It's funny because we were talking about what unit in the box you want to talk about. I'm like, anybody but Ahsoka. I've got them all done but Ahsoka. Just gig anytime. So for whatever reason, the little parasite in my brain who makes me paint things just was like, you need to get through these. And so I just pounded through a bunch of them. My train's still just based gray, and then I just did some white dry brush. I'm like, it's fine.
Fine. I mean, I do want to give a shout out here and also some critical feedback about the core set, in that the core set is an absolute value
Yes.
town buy. If you are into minis and you're buying into Shatterpoint and you want to get into the game, it is just, you get the minis, but the amount of terrain you get in addition to the actual stuff you're going to play with is I don't know, it's really phenomenal. I've never seen a core set like that before.
No, to have two full armies, normally I guess MCP was kind of like that, but it felt a little bit different. It was enough to play, and you had enough to play a full game of just you each take 5 guys and kind of go. But this feels a little bit different. It feels like there's more completeness to it.
MCP was here's enough for one person to show up to a tournament with.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
Yeah, that's fair.
And Shatterpoint is definitely here's enough for 2 people to show up to a tournament with.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. I'd agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think to me that's the big difference. Shatterpoint, the Shatterpoint core set is truly you can buy it and split it. I'm not sure I would recommend that, but
yeah, you could though.
You definitely could, and the amount of terrain in it and the quality of the terrain really kind of knocked my socks off, to be honest. They've sort of got me on the fence on buying some of those Shatterpoint terrain packs that I originally felt were probably too expensive for my taste. However, the quality of the terrain is pretty good.
Yeah, I actually have the two side ones because I'm the when I go to the store every Friday, I set up my Shatterpoint stuff, and usually someone wants to try it out, or they want to learn about it or whatever I'm doing. And but at this point I need our local bought the store kit, the first OP kit, and we're gonna do it as we're not doing it as a tournament day. It's gonna be more of a, hey, show up, pay $5 or $10 or whatever, play as many rounds as you want, and then you get your cards and go. And I feel like that's a good I don't even want to do a tournament. I just want to have people show up, play zero stress, because everyone's gonna be learning the game, no one's getting the rules right, and because it's their first game or something, right?
Totally.
So I'm not I don't want to hold anything above anybody, a timer or anything. So just play, have some games, get some cards, have a good time.
Yeah, particularly because I do think your first few games of Shatterpoint are gonna be lengthy.
Yes.
That's a great idea. I think set up a little paint area so that people can work on their core sets if they want or something. But yeah, no, totally. So before we dive into everything, we do need to kind of go through our normal housekeeping shenanigans. And so, hey, if you want to support us or any other podcasts or our blog, please go check us out at patreon.com/thefifthtrooper. We would really appreciate that. It helps us kind of run all the stuff that you guys know and love. So we don't need to hit that too much. So I don't think we really have any other housekeeping other than we do have some newsy stuff.
We do. Yeah, let me switch this over here. Boop, 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 boop. I was prepared this time. Maybe
you were definitely prepared for sure.
Okay,
and I
also see that screen.
We absolutely
all right,
can.
Cool. All right.
The news, Shatterpoint
Am I right?
Right? Yeah, buddy. I feel like somebody, so I like hang out on the Legion Discord a lot, and they're obviously in there complaining. They're like, oh man, there's a Shatterpoint, article every other day. And there's a
Yeah.
Legion one every once a week or whatever. I sympathize, but I don't care anymore.
Well, you can like enjoy both.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you could be
That's where I'm at.
the Chad the Star Wars enjoyer and just be
Yeah,
like, cool, all right.
absolutely. I'm actually pretty psyched. So we've got all Mace Windu's cards and stuff, and he seems to be interested. What are your kind of
So first off, the fact that he's got a Shatterpoint ability, cool, would have been real mad if he
if he
didn't.
didn't?
So
Yeah.
sweet. Though rush to action, I find it funny because one of the biggest, like, when people complain about Revenge of the Sith, one of the scenes I point out to agree with him is like when Anakin walks to Mace and he's like, I believe Palpatine to be a Sith master. And he's like, oh, we should look into that. And then they just walk.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
they don't run, they don't care, and they just kind of walk. So I find that funny. But like just a high level, a couple things to point out. He does have 4 force, which is good, and then 6 ability, like team building points, which is a little low. So
It's the lowest to date, notably. 6 squad points is the lowest out of any character we've seen so far.
like I don't, just looking at his card and like his damage trees and his abilities, I was expecting him to be a little bit more crazy. A little bit to like be like, hey, I'm the focus of this list. I don't, I'm giving you less points to build side guys. It's me, all me, baby.
Yep.
And then like he looks good. I mean, he's got the good like turn your crits into misses with his defensive Jedi Master. That's always like pretty strong. And he gets like movement out of the deal if you go real bad, like for well, not real bad, but like for focus, you want to call it, for expertise. You can hit to a miss, crit to a miss, hit to a miss, and then jump. Like
After
it's okay.
playing like a dozen games at this point, the like 4 expertise buckets feel like
Dreams.
yeah, like I
Yeah.
mean they happen every once in a while, but they're not something you can ever rely on.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm with you there.
But I'll run down his abilities real quick. Rush to action. At the start of this unit's activation, choose another allied Galactic Republic unit. Each character in this unit and each character in the chosen unit may dash. So that's good. My brain was like,
real
oh,
good.
yeah, it's real good. So you could actually get like a Jedi user forward more, or get some guns in line, like a Jedi user, Force user. Man, my brain's shot today. But
I think this is definitely the first one that we've talked about that is like a both. I think get to do the move.
oh
This
yeah,
is definitely the most moves I think I've seen is like a static. So we talked about Rex's last week, where he gets to like select somebody on your team that has the Galactic Republic keyword, and I think they dash. And I believe Ahsoka, one of the Ahsokas has it as well. But those are all like basically choose a character and they dash. This is Mace dashes, and then he picks a whole nother unit, so you can dash with up to 3 models, basically almost half your army, which is actually pretty big, I think.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. And it's just, you get it right when you pull them, you get to do it, which is nice.
Yep.
And I don't think there's a range on this either, right?
There is not.
There's no range. It's just that's huge.
We're moving today.
Tempered aggression. When a character in this unit makes an attack, after the attack dice and defense dice have been rolled, this unit may spend any number of force to use this ability. Reroll 1 blank result in the attack for each force spent. Yeah. That's pretty big too. It's the only one I've seen that lets you reroll misses.
So notably, those are failures.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I guess blanks. Yeah. But the reason that is important is because it will turn off riposte and deflect, right? So you can basically take those out of the pool, assuming you don't reroll back into them.
Yeah.
I assume that's how that would work. I don't
Yeah, because I
actually
think
know
the
that for a
final die roll hasn't been like
locked
the
in
results
yet.
haven't been locked in. You're still kind of like after both dice have been rolled. So you roll your attack dice, they roll their defense dice, you modify, they modify,
Yep.
and then you could modify, and then after everything's done, then you like did you get a miss? Do I get deflect? Right, like
Yeah.
so that's good. Also note that none of his abilities cost force, so he just brings 4 to the table and like doesn't spend them.
Notably, tempered aggression definitely like
Oh yeah,
it
yeah,
has a
yes,
bunch of
sorry,
text and it doesn't say it costs
correct.
force, but it does like in the text. If that ability does anything, you do have to spend force to use it.
You are correct.
Yes.
You are correct.
Yeah.
Shatterpoint. When this unit is chosen to activate with a Shatterpoint card, if its active stance is Form V, oh my god,
Form
Vapid,
7.
Form 7. Sorry, forms
I've always
Vapod.
assumed that this is Vapod. I don't know how to actually pronounce it. That's how I pronounce it.
We'll go with Vapod. Form 7 Vapod. It immediately makes a focus action, and characters in this unit have Impact 2. What does Impact 2 do?
I believe Impact 2 adds 2 dice. I would have to double check that.
Okay, well, I'll keep going here while you're doing that.
Yeah.
Until the end of the turn. So he would add, theoretically, he could add 3 dice because he takes a focus and then adds 2 more, so it could be 9. If the active stance is Jedi Master, refresh 2 force, and 1 character in this unit may heal 3. And when you heal, you can heal yourself or someone range 2. So note that if he is full of health, he can knock 3 damage off like a Rex or somebody who might be getting close to injured. So that's pretty good.
Yep. So Impact 2 is so it does add 2 dice. So what that basically says is you get the focus action, which adds a die on its own.
Yeah.
And then you get 2 additional from Impact. And notably, in order to ever get the dice from Impact, you actually have to take a focus action.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
Yeah, it's like in the text of Impact. So he
So
basically, if you activate him with Shatterpoint and he's in Form 7 Vapod, he's rolling 10 dice as opposed to 7.
Dang. Okay. That's the damage I was, because when you just look at the numbers on the card, you don't really read his abilities. Like, 7 and 6. That's all right. Right. It's all right. I don't know. So that's throwing 10 is pretty crazy. And this party's over. Fantastic. While a character in this unit is engaged, allied Galactic Republic characters within 5 have steadfast and protection. One of those is you can't get moved while on an objective. Is that right?
So steadfast is let me double check, but I believe it is and I have successfully double checked. It is you ignore the first shove.
Okay.
In someone's combat tree when they're attacking you. Now, the reason you think it's on an objective is because most of the units that gain steadfast gain it while they're on an objective.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then protection basically takes 1 damage off the top from every damage pool. So this is like basically giving as long as Mace is engaged, your entire army, assuming they're all Galactic Republic, is basically like DR1.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It seems excellent. I guess as long as they're within 5 of him. 5 is pretty far.
5 is very far, especially if you decide to just charge the middle.
Yeah,
like most of your army can get in there pretty easily. But no, he's super good. I'm excited to see what a 3-point support and a 3-point secondary unit will be. So I want to see his card because new news is new, right?
Yeah.
I get excited for any Star Wars AMG release of X-Wing Armada. I just like seeing it. It's cool. So
man, you're really throwing them out there. Are you trying to bait people into I am just so excited for AMG releases for all the games they don't release things.
Yeah, just news mostly. Yeah, I didn't mean I was trying not to say just Legion and Legion and Shatterpoint.
It's all right.
But when they did the OP reveal for Armada a little while ago for Words, those cards are sick.
They are.
It's just cool. But So I'm down with this. I want to see the other two characters to see if they're like good, if they're appropriate. I don't know. 3 points. We'll
Yeah,
see.
I mean, I think it's going to be tough. So my gut reaction, as well as a couple of the people I've talked to, what is that if Mace is like really good, it's because of This Party's Over.
Yeah. Yeah.
I actually like, I think the keywords that they put on him are really thematic and cool. And I think like in his Form 7 Vapod, he can probably do a lot of damage. I don't think he can do that much more damage than Anakin or Kenobi can. And like, Anakin doing a lot of damage is really good because you get the
his ability, his free victory point for killing.
Yeah, you just get victory points for killing things, which is a pretty big reason to take him. And one thing that I don't like about Mace, even though it's his most thematic ability, I think, is Shatterpoint. The strength in a Shatterpoint card to me is its flexibility in allowing you to decide what is the most important unit at the time to activate. And don't get me wrong, oftentimes it's your Jedi.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's like very important to activate a unit that has like 2 characters in it so you can go get objectives, right?
Absolutely.
And I guess I am fearful that this pigeonholes you a little bit too much, and that I don't feel like my gut is that if you're not using the Shatterpoint ability, he might not be worth it.
It feels kind of wasted.
Yeah.
Being able to swing with 10 dice is pretty cool.
It's just like Kenobi gets to do it without having to like burn your Shatterpoint card on it. And notably, like when you activate Mace with just his card, you can't use his Shatterpoint ability.
Correct.
Which means he's just swinging 7, which is a whole lot different than 10. I feel like
it's oddly, yes, 7 is different from 10.
Yeah.
But one die is always, I think someone put it like this. One die is always infinitely better than no extra die. So if you can ever get that extra defense die, extra attack die, and anything you do, it's very wanted, right? Like it's a good big quantifier. But yeah, so I'm hoping to see the rest of this kit. We specifically did not do the Sisters of Dathomir pack yet until Savage comes out, because we were kind of behind anyway. So when Savage Oppressed comes out, I just hate some Star Wars characters' names are just so lame. It's General Bad Guy. It's just like General Grievous, Savage Oppressed, like Evil Mick Jedi. Anyway, when he comes out, we'll go through the whole kit, because I think her abilities will have a lot of effect on a particular character, mainly Asajj.
Before we segue into Asajj, I actually just like I was looking at the keywords in the appendix, and I've never actually looked at this page in here. There's a appendix C talks about eras, and I didn't actually realize that the New Republic is listed as an era in here.
Yeah, they added the rules and FAQ got updated Friday.
Okay.
So Friday as of 7 July 9th.
Okay, so
listening to this.
I'm not a crazy person.
No.
This
That's
wasn't
brand new. That's brand new. No, so they added. So now it's Fall of the Jedi, Rise of the Empire, I believe.
Reign of the Empire.
Age of Rebellion, and the New Republic.
Okay.
So for example, Mando would fall into a New Republic. Right.
Sure.
That's kind of where he was just after the rebellion. They won, right? All the guys are gone. But that also gives me hope that we might see, Rey, Kylo.
Yeah, no, totally. I've been digging. I'm like, please give us First Order and Resistance and Legion for a long time. But if it's just going to be in this game, I'm actually sort of okay with that.
It's easier to do because you don't need to, make a whole army. You can just make a couple strike teams, and then everybody's kind of happy.
Yep, you're kind of done at that point. You can be done, rather. You're like, here's a First Order strike team, here's a Resistance strike team. Be happy, go play
off to the races.
Everything's fine. Yeah.
So absolutely. That gives me hope that it's nice that the sequel trilogies actually get acknowledged. As a Star, like, keep saying, I gotta stop and think and use my words better. As a general Star Wars enjoyer, I'm always upset that Legion didn't get more or any sequel stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
Just in general, even X-Wing got like they barely got solo stuff. It was like we got
Well,
the
I mean,
Falcon, and then
didn't
that was it.
X-Wing get I mean, they got First Order and Resistance technically, right?
They did. So good for them, but Solo's also no. I say that very like no, good for them. No, the two
So
real
are
factions.
we calling Solo a sequel? Are you putting Solo in the
I
sequel
kind of
category?
because it came out right after right after Last Jedi,
Okay.
and I think I really like Solo, and I feel like it kind of got a bad rap when everybody was very divisive on Last Jedi, and so I'm always kind of bummed that they kind of just want to like take a broom and kind of like
I mean, I
shuffle
feel
it
like
around.
nobody is allowed to complain against about Last Jedi and Solo anymore when we all had to watch episode 9.
It's the only time I've ever looked at the projector in the beginning when they're doing the quick jumping.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought it was broken. And I'm like looking
Totally.
around to see if anybody else was like, I'm like, this can't be right. This is a TikTok. I'm watching a TikTok. This is like what's happening.
Yeah.
But I to that point, I am happy that it's acknowledged. And I think it's a great spot to put like because I would love to play Hux, Phasma, some first orders, or
Yep.
Kylo, Ray, relive the fight scene. They could just do a dual set like the
Totally.
Obi Vader set, and I'd be happy. Let's say happy as a pig in something, but happy that that came out.
Yeah, absolutely. My Obi Vader set is sitting at the store. I gotta go pick it up. I have like 3 or 4 packs that all came in on pre-order. They texted me on Friday. They're like, "Come get your stuff," and I'm like, "I am not ready to come get them yet."
So I got them. I built them. I haven't had a chance to paint them yet. Then we were when we did our last podcast, General Grievous had got shot out to like September, and then right after we did the podcast, like the next 2 days, Grievous gets shot out to this coming week when you're listening to this. So
Oh,
Grievous should be
really?
in stores on the 14th. Yeah.
Oh, nice. I'm
So
glad they're
got
actually able to expedite that.
rubber banded. I'm sure it's just like a shipment got lost
Sure.
somewhere and it showed up, which is good because a lot of times they don't. They just disappear. I
Yep.
can imagine a bunch of like pirates. They rob a container ship and then they like crack it open expecting like Tesla car or something. It's just toys.
It's just a bunch of plastic
Yeah,
sprues.
they don't know that's actually to market value is worth some money because they're 50 a piece, right? They're like,
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
dumping them overboard, just like get this crap out of here. So just
These boxes are all air.
yeah. Someone's paying money for this? Are they out of
Yeah,
their minds?
yeah, yeah.
But so cool. I'll have Grievous. We'll have Grievous, and then next month is Dathomir and Party's Over. And I think Cad Bane is September with
I'm
Cad
like,
Bane
I'm very
and
split on ordering the Cad Bane pack. It looks so cool. I'm really trying to only buy things that you can play in Republic. Maybe, I mean, I guess you technically can play them in the Republic because they're
yeah,
probably Fall of the Jedi.
just thematically themes lame.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
That's how I
that's
feel about it.
unfortunate. It's still like if I'm playing Obi-Wan, I won't play him with Vader
I
just
do
out
want
of
to
you know.
I do want to like take Vader Rex in the 501st. first. I do think that will be cool.
Yeah, yeah. That's a neat callback, right?
Yeah, yeah. Like I don't know. But
But the speaking of Dathomir, uh we've got Asajj
yeah, our
and
first this will be our squad for today. This is the second one out of the core set, right?
yes. And we were talking about how good the B ones were last time, and now we're actually gonna go over them today because the B ones turned out are still pretty good. But
No, I will say my criticism from earlier that I wanted just to yeah, the droids were so hard to put together. Oh
oh
my
yes,
god. I those 6B1 models in Kalani took me probably 50% of putting that whole set together, I feel like.
I powered through building all the models in a weekend. And I had a cigar in my mouth, had my music on. I was outside, just kind of pounding through these. Had Bob's Burgers on my laptop. I was just in my flow state of just building and like having a good time. And I got to the B1s, and then I just stopped. I saw
Yeah.
the sprue, and I'm like, oh no, these are just bigger Legion B1s, and those were miserable. And so I started building them, and the kneeling guy just can't kneel in his own,
Oh
so it's
yeah,
just
no, it
they don't
was
stand right in their own.
it was rough.
So it's I got to the point where I think you could see me starting, and then just the life slowly drain out of me as I just couldn't get done. I got done like two, put the cigar out, closed my laptop, and just went inside. I'm done. I'm done for the weekend. It just sucked all the life out of me.
Yeah, I don't know how yours were. I may have gotten like a bad mold or something, but the connection points on all my B1s were like a little bit, I don't even know. It was almost like they were melted a little bit.
Yeah,
Like they didn't,
quite fit right.
yeah, and they were yeah. And like clearly like a little bit, they weren't straight edges. They were very kind of like hilly, if that makes sense. Um
No, I agree. I just got them together, and then I painting them painting uh painting B1s is always pretty easy, especially with speed paint. It they're they're just brown, like a light
yeah, yeah,
brown, and then you
totally.
do the red for their shoulders and a little bit back of their head, and they're gun black, then you're kind of done.
Mhm.
So that was pretty give a oops, new share. Get back to these guys real quick. Share. But they weren't too bad to do. But if you're looking at them now, if you were annoyed with putting B1s together from Legion, these are the same. These are you'd have to do less, but they're somehow
I would say that they are harder to put together than the
yeah, I
Legion
was to say
ones.
there's
I
less of them, but it's somehow more of a pain.
I definitely I put together six whole squads of B1s for Legion, and I didn't really have that much problem with them, but these just their connection points are just not as, at least in my set, were not as rigid. So I definitely it you definitely have to like put them together and hold them there.
Yeah,
And you have to like hold them for a minute per connection point. I've found. Um,
Kalani wasn't too bad. Kalani wasn't too
yeah,
bad.
I definitely, it looks like you assembled him a little different. I've got him like holding the thing out, but he's also like pointing or whatever.
Okay, yeah,
And his pointing arm was a little bit of a pain. I had to like prop it up to get it to dry. I actually propped it up on not Ahsoka, Asajj's lightsaber.
yeah.
Um,
You know, it's always funny when you're just at your desk using like a glue bottle or something just to hold the arm
yeah,
for so you
yeah,
can like move on. A little secret there, when I glued his arm, it's glued to his back as well. So
yeah. Okay.
he's that's how he sits. And
Yep. Yep.
Asajj is actually super easy to put together,
Yeah. Totally.
minus getting those lightsabers out of the sprue. I almost so when you're clipping them, the advice I give people is clip the spots on the part of the model you want to get out that has a lightsaber that isn't the lightsaber. Save the lightsaber for last and try to do a little twist, like a
Oh,
gentle
interesting.
twist to get it off. That was okay, because sometimes when you clip, you see the lightsaber like bend, and like, oh no, don't break.
Oh,
So what I do is I clip, like for example, her arms were two parts of sprue were her arm, and then one was on the lightsaber blade. And so I clipped the arm parts, and then I took my fingers and did gently twisted like around each part of the lightsaber, and it kind of came off okay. Didn't put too much stress on it. The
I've actually,
lightsabers. Oh,
go ahead.
go ahead.
No, no, go for it.
I would say lightsabers in this game are super cool, but I put together the Inquisitors, and they each have two
Yeah.
on each of their dumb little hands, and I'm actually looking at a Magna rack now because I don't know how I'd transport those
Oh,
in
totally.
normal foam. It's crazy.
I definitely, I'm in the same boat. I feel like and for all you listeners out there, I think Magna racks are the way to go. I don't think you want to put these in foam. I've been transporting my stuff to and from the store in foam the last few times, and I'm just like, oh god, this is, I don't know. What I will say is that these lightsabers, with how thin they are remarkably um able to give a lot more
They bend more than
then
you think.
yeah. I definitely have been impressed with. I haven't like come close to breaking any of them, and they definitely give a pretty significant amount. I haven't obviously tried to break
Yeah.
them, so like I don't know how much they actually give, but I'd say like they give like 30 degrees
Yeah.
ish,
Yeah.
you know.
I put mine in a van shoebox full of the when I transport my models, it's in a van shoebox full of like packing paper.
Okay.
The so it keeps it like they kind of bounce.
Sure, sure.
There's no hard foam, right?
Mhm.
Nothing to like do that. So I put them in there gently and kind of hope for the best. But Magnarex, man, geez.
Yeah.
They make like a generic one online that's like on Amazon. It's got for like 130. It's not the battle foam one, but it looks okay. It's people who get it and they say it's fine. I'm like, excellent, that's cool. But I'd like to get a battle foam one so I could just take it out of my foam out of my battle bag and just throw in the Magna when I want to change it up.
Yep.
Because buying a battle foam bag again, buying more than one is ludicrous. For how much these things cost.
No, I
But
agree.
I'm also getting to the point where maybe I just have two bags. Like this is just my Shatterpoint bag, I guess. I don't know.
Yep. Yep.
It's just where this lives now. But yeah, transporting. If you've got cool transporting tips, please let us know because I'm all of my terrain. I'm kind of rough with my terrain because just primed and
Yeah.
nothing's
Yeah.
too fragile on it. So I just kind of throw it in the box and say whatever. But I'm expecting that'll be a problem when I have to bring more terrain. And it's just the game is it's nice to be able to go to a store and grab terrain off the shelf for 40K. Because everything's got 40K terrain.
Yep.
Every milestone's got 40K terrain. 40K terrain is generally pretty bad for Legion. It's also pretty bad for this.
I
This
agree.
really wants dynamic terrain, so you generally have to supply your own or have the high amount of faith to just leave yours on the shelf in the store,
Oh yeah,
which I
I'm
would
not
not.
that person. Yeah.
Yeah, no. I did that once with some Legion terrain and something got broken. And
I
I the last time I did that.
we've been using MCP terrain.
That's not bad. That's
I
not bad.
mean,
Yeah,
as far as like how the game operates from a movement perspective and stuff, it's very similar. So it's if the terrain feels designed in similar ways, I think.
that's fair. So you generally, if you're going to do demos, want to supply your own terrain. If you're going to do a like the Shatterpoint day that I'm trying to plan in my store is more or less going to be I'll have two tables, I'll have the two boxes of terrain and then the core set. You're pretty good. That's good enough
Yep.
for it. And then anybody who wants to come, my request would be please bring terrain.
Yeah.
That's I can't the terrain here is not going to be good. Please bring your terrain that came with your core set.
I will say the going back to like the value town of the box, the terrain in the core set is definitely sufficient for a game.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Like it's I think less than I would like, but it's definitely sufficient to play a game and feel and like deal with cover and like all of the effects of elevation and stuff. I think it's really good.
Yeah, honestly, I build the on one side I build the long catwalks and I have the three buildings and I have one building out in the middle. And then on the other side that's kind of open, I just throw some of the boxes around, make little like barricade like things.
Yeah.
And it's fine. Like I don't know, like the game is weird that normally a lot of games I play, I feel like I need a lot of terrain, but this one I agree with you that it feels like a little light. So maybe like you get the core set and then the not the higher ground, but the take cover pack or the other the one that comes with the gonk. You take
Uh,
that train kit and you throw a couple of the rocks around and you're probably good. But for especially for learning games, like just having the core set out is more than enough just to get through and feel like you're interacting with stuff and doing stuff. And also, I will say that it works pretty good for Legion terrain.
yeah.
Honestly, the buildings are very square. I like that. Not like little nublets to hang out. So if my toes behind it, I still have heavy cover, right? Very boxy. You can hide a guy behind it. The height is cool. So it works for that too. I wouldn't say buy all the terrain just for Legion, but I would say that if you in a pinch and you need some Legion terrain, it's actually not bad.
Yeah, no, I think it's pretty interchangeable, and I suspect that that's intentional.
Yeah,
Um,
I'd hope so. Yeah, right, because it's cool. And also, you can sell a product in double, right? Like the Shatterpoint terrain can also be bought for Legion terrain. That's smart.
yeah,
But
100%.
yeah, let's get to Asajj. Let me switch back here. Old man knows how to work computer. He swears.
And you're talking me into getting one of these terrain packs, because I definitely want to play like I think just like field board
Yeah,
terrain,
yeah.
you know? Yeah.
You buy if you get the core set and you buy the take cover pack, that's got the 2 rocks, another building, 2 more gantries, I think, a couple ladders, the gonk, and the speeder bike. Then you got that, you're loaded. That's everything. I
Yeah.
think you'd be pretty okay there. But someone who actually likes train pretty good, because she can dodge around all of it, no
Yep.
problem.
Absolutely.
Asajj, Thathan, Sith assassin. But I'll run down her card, her abilities. Dathomirian dexterity, 1 force. Each character in this unit may jump. This unit may use this ability 2 times during activation instead of the normal one. That's she can just fly across the board.
She can.
So you do your normal advance, so then you can dash, and you're just anywhere you want. Or
Basically,
not
she's
dash, but her thing, yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's a dash with ignoring elevation. Basically, it's very powerful. It's very good. I think she's definitely, I think, within her activation, potentially the fastest unit in the game.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone else who can do the full move and then make 2 more full moves.
I think definitely, at least outside of getting additional moves in combat, which she also can.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think she's very quick. Super quick.
Next, we got Force Push, which I'm actually shocked the more characters don't have.
Agree.
To tell you the truth, but here it is. 2 force. Choose a character in this unit and an enemy character within range 3 of that character. Push the chosen enemy character 3 away from the chosen character. So you're going to push a character that she wants within 3 away 3. So if they're in range 3, she uses ability, and then she can push them range 3 away, which is pretty strong.
It's super far.
Yeah, it's really like
it's
to be able to move, and then just launch you off a position is pretty crazy.
Yeah, I definitely think that this is one of the stronger things about her kit. Definitely the we obviously haven't gone over Maul yet, but he's got like a similar kind of like movement based ability that manipulates your opponent as opposed to you. That's like outside the combat tree, right?
Yeah.
Most of the force push esque effects are in the combat tree as shoves, right? But this one, just being able to like flip 2 force for it and do it is very powerful and strong. She definitely can like just take an objective and hold it by herself.
Oh yeah, easily. Then we've got a riposte. After a melee attack against target character in this unit is resolved, this unit may use the ability if the attack roll contained 1 or more misses results. Is that their misses? Is that what they call them?
They're failures.
Failures. Okay, 1 or more failure results. The attacking unit suffers 2 damage. Oh, that's good.
It is. It's interesting. Most of the Jedi have deflect. She has riposte instead, it seems.
Yeah.
So it's actually you're significantly more likely to I mean, it doesn't, I guess this doesn't really affect the I guess when we get into like talking about her defense tree, it'll become a little bit more apparent, I think. But in this case, shooting her is actually, you don't have to worry about taking damage. It's when you're meleeing her, it gets a little wonky.
Next ability, Slip Away. When another ally Dathomirian, or that's good, that's cool, that'll be important.
Yeah, for sure.
Sometimes foreshadowing is a form of
Yeah,
literally.
absolutely.
Or
It's good future proofing, just as like
yeah.
from a game design aspect to just like put as many different typing keywords on these things as possible so that you can use them in the future type
Oh,
situation.
absolutely. So when another ally Dathomirian or Separatist Alliance character targets an enemy character that is engaged with one or more characters in this unit with an attack, this unit may use the ability. Once this character, one character in this unit that is engaged with the target character may immediately reposition. If it does, it gains a hunker. So what is reposition? What is that little arrow everywhere?
Yeah. So that basically means that you can, so normally while you're engaged, you can't advance.
Yeah, you can only
You
dash,
can
right?
only dash. When you reposition using that symbol, you advance in any direction, even
Okay,
if you're engaged.
cool.
And basically, this is a very wordy way of saying that as long as what is it when an enemy character makes an attack?
Yeah, when someone attacks someone she's engaged with, when a Dathomirian or Separatist Alliance character attacks an enemy that she's engaged with,
Right.
she can slip away.
So when one of your buddies basically distracts, she can get out of there. And I think this triggers off ranged attacks too, based on the wording.
I think so.
So they don't target enemy. Yeah, I don't actually think the unit that is attacking has to also be engaged. So you can kind of use it as like a distracting effect. This also makes her super fast and quick.
Yes.
You can reposition forward.
Yes. Yeah. It's so she's on somebody else
Yeah.
contesting a point or just being a pain.
Mhm.
So super good. Sith Assassin. When a character in this unit, sorry, when a character in this unit wounds an enemy unit, after the effect is resolved, that character may heal 3. If wounded a primary unit or secondary unit, it may also advance or jump if the wounded a primary unit refresh 2. So if it wounded a primary unit, refresh 2. So this is kind of like Anakin's got something like this, where if you wound a primary, secondary, it's a victory point for him. But here it's healing or more repositioning.
Yep.
And then if you hurt a primary unit, you get to also get 2 force back. So
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah, both of the I think in the core set, I think it's really cool how they did this. A lot of the primary and secondary, mostly the primaries, have kind of things that reward you for like a kind of doing the thing the game that you're supposed to do in the game, which is to like wound primary and secondary units and basically named characters, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's really cool that they kind of just like power up those characters. It's and the fact that they're on Anakin and Asajj is also very thematic.
Yeah, I agree. So she's really good. Her only taking 9 wounds is a little low. Usually it's like 10 or 11. Some of the other heroes are a little bit higher, but being
For
able to
sure.
heal 3 every time you wound something, it makes it kind of null. There's a chance she can just one-shot support unit pretty handily.
Yes. I think if we kind of like take a look at her combat trees, I actually found that her Makashi tree is kind of weird. Like it only advances 4 times in contrast to some of these other trees that we've been looking at that are like, 5 to 7 for primary and secondaries. Like
Yeah.
this one, you only get 4 and that's it. And each one is like jam packed with stuff, but it's very much not a damage dealing tree, I don't think.
No, it's strange because it feels like Makashi should be, because Makashi and Legion is I guess
You're
right.
immune to Pierce.
Yeah,
You're
right.
no
Like
longer immune to Pierce. Yeah.
I'm gonna hurt you. So this is it's strange. So I think the big takeaway is the expertise. If you get 1 expertise, that's 2 crits.
Yes.
That's pretty good. So the odds of you going down her tree 4 are pretty high.
Yeah, I
those
think so.
those are pretty reasonable to at least get 2 to 3,
Mhm.
and then 4 isn't like out of this world or anything. She does throw 7, so she throws 7 dice, no on a melee, no ranged attack dice. Ranged attack, she rolls 5 defense dice. Melee, she rolls 6. For her expertise, 1 to 3 is 2 crits. 4 is, which is strange, that's just exactly 4, 2 crits and a hit, and then 5+ is 3 crits. Duelist training is her defense. Her expertise add 1 block, 2 to 3, 2 blocks, 4+, 2 blocks, and a jump.
Yeah.
So her, I won't go down exactly everything her tree does, but she has a lot of reposition.
I think
a ton of it.
The most notable thing that's in her tree, and we haven't seen this yet because it wasn't on any of the units that we looked at last episode, but this is the first unit we're going to see it on, and we're going to see it on another unit later very soon, is the kind of circle with a down arrow in it.
Yes.
And that basically means that you can use either her Dathomirian dexterity or force push without using force points when you hit it in the tree.
Dude, that's so good.
It's very good.
A free force push is just nuts. Or even Dathomirian dexterity, because you can use it twice in the activation.
Yeah.
So being able to, maybe you use it once to jump in on somebody, whack, you only need to put the 4 damage in. So you push them off the point, you get your free, you can take a second jump because you can do that twice, move again, and then take your next action to actually hit somebody. Like it's very good.
Yeah, her Makashi tree, because of where that is I think very technical. It's also in both of her trees. Like if you get to 4 on either of her trees, you can just like force push and or Dathomirian dexterity for free, which is huge. I think being able to use those abilities for free is very powerful.
I agree. Her Jakar or Jakai, no ranged, 5 of defense dice when being shot at, melee 8 dice, defense 6. To note on her, this is supposed to be her defensive stance, sort of, where it's aggressive defense. So 1 expertise in her defense is a block, then it drops a crit to a hit. 2 to 3 expertise is 2 blocks and a crit to a hit, and then 4+ is 2 blocks, a crit to a hit, and the hit to a miss. Her twin lightsaber expertise is a crit and a hit for 1 to 3. The 4 is 2 crits and a hit, and the 5+ is 2 crits and 2 hits. But the raw damage of the top to go down is 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. If you just get the whole boat, which on like a support unit or something's not that tough. But yes, this is, or if you take her bottom tree,
I think the bottom tree is better.
Yeah, just like all the status effects. Just bleed, disarm, exposed, and then I'm gonna push you if I hit 4, right? Like it's pretty okay.
Yeah, I think just like layering them with status effects, and then like if you do 6 damage with this, you can just give them all 4 status effects, and that's really strong.
Yeah, that's crazy. Their status effects are a pain to get rid of in this game.
They are.
Bleed is really miserable. Tough. Bleed is miserable. Just take 3 if you don't get rid of me first action. Yikes. A lot of times in games, so for example, I play a game called Hunt Showdown. There's 3 levels of bleed. You get hit by a bleed bullet. You don't necessarily stop what you're doing to fix the bleed because it's not doing too much to you, and it's more important they stay alive and try to shoot the other guy so you can fix it later. But in this game, it's like you get hit by the tier 3 bleed means you have to fix it now, right? Like to lose 3 health is like kind of big, just because, even not getting disarmed is you don't get your expertise dice when shooting or attacking in general, I think. So not having expertise with Jedi is big. Yep, because that's where a lot of the crits come from, and being exposed, not getting expertise in defense is big. So being just riddled with, and if you get all the way down, if you hit the full boat, you also get pinned. Yep. So it's
it's like, oh man,
it's just rough. Miserable. So she's very good.
Yeah. One thing I do want to note with the activated abilities that you can activate during the tree, it's really important from a sequencing side of things, in that just because it's in your tree does not mean you can use it twice during your activation. Correct. If you've used it before you do a combat action, like if you Dathomirian dexterity twice and then force push and then attack, if you hit that in the tree, you actually can't use it because you've maxed out the amount of times you can use Dathomirian dexterity, and you've maxed out the amount of times you can use force push. This is like it is an or that does not include an and.
Yeah.
So you definitely, I would highly recommend, if you're planning on force pushing something and would like the option to do it in the tree, I would attack first, see if you get it for free, and if you don't get it for free, then you can spend 2 force points on it.
That's fair. That's a good
yeah.
idea. Yeah, because I put myself in that position where I did the thing. I did the ability I want to do. I hit it. I think it was on Obi doesn't have that, does he? I think he does.
Obi's got a force push.
Yeah,
Or
no, the ability in his tree. I think it was Obi that I was
Obi's
playing.
got some weird stuff. I think he does it when he jumps and like gets some extra dice when you
Oh yeah, hello
take him
there.
out of reserve and stuff.
You know what? It actually might have been her. I know there's one character. I play a lot of demo games that I don't take too seriously because I'm just trying to help them like get through, get through the turn. That's how the card works. Because when you roll dice in this game, if you don't know the game, you
Yeah.
roll them and you're used to every other FFG game. You're like 5 damage. And I'm like,
Yep.
no, it's not.
It's not. It's way more complicated.
Yeah, then I
At
roll
least
the blocks and then yeah.
I'd say it feels way more complicated than that. I think once you get in the rhythm of kind of like figuring it out, it's simpler than it looks.
Yeah, so I have to break down a lot of like old habits in a lot of
Yep.
games for this one. Like there are no rounds, it just keeps going.
Yep.
Right, you just keep trucking along. And so sometimes I think I was playing her last time and I did the jump twice. I didn't need to, and then I attacked, and then I got that thing and I wanted to jump again. Like, oh crap, I could have got it for free. It's something like that. But no, definitely to your point, yeah, thinking about ahead of time, hitting 4 with her isn't that hard.
No, I
It's
think it's
pretty
very
easy.
reasonable. Yeah.
So that's just something to keep in mind. But moving on to her, any more thoughts on her before I move on?
Well, no, I think we covered it. She's, high mobility. She is pretty fragile, so she is not Anakin or Kenobi
No, yeah.
or any of those characters when it comes to taking damage. She will. I think every time that I've wanted to one shot Asajj, I have.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah.
Just like setting up an attack that's like 12 dice with whatever.
Yeah.
Like she will take damage. So the fact that she's, I don't, what do they call them in X-Wing? They're not they're like arc dodgers, I think.
Oh
Is
yeah.
that the term?
Aces, yeah.
Yeah. I think she plays, obviously there's no like arcs in this game, but similar kind of concept in that she definitely needs to not be shot at.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah.
Kalani, super tactical droid. Kalani's abilities. Roger. At start of the student's activation, each allied battle droid supporting character within 4 of a character in this unit may dash, which is crazy. It's really good.
So I haven't actually played a game where all of the supports are droids yet. Like,
oh, really?
Yeah, like I haven't played one with like 2B1s and 2B2s or like 2B1s and 2 magnets or whatever yet. But this seems busted.
Yeah, it is.
When it's like, yeah.
Normally that's how my standard games I bring is Obi, Anakin, Rex, Cody, 501st, 212. And then on the other side is Dooku, Asajj, Django, Kalani, and then Magna Guard and B1s.
Sure.
And if I'm playing them, I know how to set them up. But when they're deploying, I say, hey, Kalani really wants those support droids to be around them at least turn 1. Get that cool off to the races. Do that once and try to keep that up. But when I get a Shatterpoint card with this team, sometimes I just do it on Kalani to get another move to get those Magna to start moving, right? Like let's get slapping.
So good.
It's very strong.
Kalani, I think he's definitely the best support character in the core box.
Oh yeah, because he's nothing but support, right?
Yes.
That's he's just nothing but good support abilities. Next ability, Tactical Network, 1 force point. Choose another allied battle droid character within 4. The chosen character may dash, then gain a hunker, remove 1 condition token from itself, or make a 5 dice attack. So you get to move and then shoot if you wanted to get somebody, or shoot, quote, the 5 dice is shot. But hunker's really good. Removing condition, like they're all good. Like there's when in doubt, hunker it out. If you have nothing, you're like, I don't know, it's a hunker, I guess.
Yep.
Because hunker even gives you a little bit of a dash. It gives you a range 1.
It does. It does. It's
Little
very
speed.
slow, but it's for units that don't have extra like movement effects on them. It's kind of like an easy way to get a little bit more distance if you need to get to an objective or something.
But I've been punished by B1s with this. Just I forget that they can do that, so just move. All right, take a shot.
Yep.
First shot. Oh, sometimes 1 or 2 damage gets through for free, and I'm like, okay, thanks, Kalani. Target, concentrate all firepower. When an allied battle droid character makes an attack, if the target character is within 4 of 1 or more other allied battle droid characters, the attacking character adds 1 die to its attack roll. That's really good. I know we say that a lot. But there hasn't been a character. I guess maybe like the 501st Troopers or the 512th or 212th are like, they're fine. They're okay.
Yeah, they're fine. They're just fine. I think concentrate all firepower. It definitely incentivizes you to keep your dudes together.
Yeah.
For sure. And I so far on the table, I've actually I haven't really played Separatists, but one of my opponents plays Separatists like pretty much exclusively, and this is actually proven to be a little bit more difficult to do than it kind of like lets on when you're trying to contest like points across the table from each other. And so I definitely think that Kalani really, this ability and the tactical network and Roger like really all support a play style that is very precise in where you're putting your guys.
Yes, constantly monitoring. I feel like there's going to be somebody at a big tournament, let's say like next year, who wins with like Kalani and B1s or something like Kalani B1s and B2s, and the heroes are kind of superfluous. They're there, they're around, but it could be like Kalani and Kraken. I haven't seen. I think Kraken's card's out. I haven't actually taken a deep dive into it since I've started really caring about Shatterpoint.
Sure.
So I don't know what it is off the top of my head, but I mean, he's a battle droid. He could do this stuff too, I assume, right? So not bad. Then complete analysis. When you spend a force to place this unit's order card in reserve, spend 1 less. So it's free unless you're injured, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Now, we had mentioned last cast that that Shatterpoint was more tactical than Legion, and I thought about it. Go ahead.
So I think I know where you're going with this. And are you noting the comment that was left out of the?
Yeah. I'm noting it that it is.
We're calling you out, whoever you were. I don't. So first of all, you go first.
Okay, I was gonna say, you are not incorrect that Legion has more tactical play because the game's longer. There's more units. There's more dice rolls, and pulling cards in this game can be very random. And sometimes you're just pulling and you don't know. But a lot of characters have abilities like this. Obi-Wan's got patience. You get to manipulate where your card goes. Grievous has one, I believe. B1s have one. This has one, like a bonus to do it. You can control the randomness in this game to your benefit if you build your list to do that. Or you can lean into it and just go, whatever, none of my characters care, I'm just going to go for it. But I don't think that this is necessarily more tactical than Legion, but I feel like you can have more control over your list in this without having to like take certain upgrades or be the CIS or like have clones, things like that.
So I think I'm with you. I hope that was not the impression that we gave last time. And honestly, the amount of times I've done a lot of podcasts at this point, as you have as well.
Yeah.
I don't remember what I said last week. And I don't even, I know that we talked about Anakin Squad. I have no idea. Like, this is not the only podcast I do. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I said a lot of stuff that I don't remember saying. B, which is not to make an excuse for it. I just want to say. But I guess is to say that sometimes it's a little bit throwaway and that we have to come up with content, right?
Yes. Yeah.
But I think maybe on a, if we want to like dive into that, the whole like tactical nature of it, is that I actually think this game is definitely more tactical than Star Wars Legion.
Okay.
Star Wars Legion is more strategic.
Okay. That's a good way to put it.
And I think people a lot of the time use those two terms interchangeably, like they're the same thing. And for those listeners that may not like understand the difference between the two, tactical is very like in the moment, I can make decisions that are kind of affecting how the game plan is. It's like changing up to the minute. And you really, at least so far as I've found, there are so many decisions you make in an activation in Shatterpoint that like can change from the beginning of the activation to the end of the activation. Like there are times when something will happen during your activation that changes things within that activation that you didn't plan on doing.
Yes.
And to me, that makes this game more tactical. Now, flipping on the other side, I don't think this game is very strategic in that you can't really have a game plan. Like you can have kind of like the idea of a game plan before a game, but in this game, like everything just goes off the rails completely because it is very random and it is like you don't know where the objectives are going to be. You don't know which ones are going to activate. You just don't know a lot of things.
Yeah.
Whereas in Legion, like your whole thing is you have a game plan. Like when you set up in deployment, you know where your guys need to be on turn 6.
Yes.
And like you're executing a game plan throughout all 6 turns to get there. And that is a very long-winded way of saying that yes, this game is more tactical. That does not mean that it's worse or better. And I just don't want to give people the indication that was what we were saying last week.
No, sure, yeah. Plus, we're just excited. Like, we're just excited about the game. So
yeah,
you put it much better than I did. But to people who come in and say the game is all random, it's not. On the outset, if you were outside looking in and watching me just pull cards and roll dice, and my first impression of the game was, oh, this is just like roll dice until someone wins. I'm like, oh, you're just kind of pulling cards, nothing matters, just doing whatever. It's can't control anything. You can control an awful lot. You can't control where objectives go, but you can prep yourself in knowing, like, if we really want to get into it, knowing what the sets are for the round 2 to know where they might go. So you you leave a 5-0 first guy way in the back just because
100%
that might be coming up. So it's not a completely just you pull the tablecloth out from under all the dishes go with it. It's like sometimes it works out, and there are cards abilities who can manipulate your deck. So it is, when I'm excited to see more what they do with that, because I think there's some interesting stuff there. Maybe you find somebody who can, like, you can reserve 2 cards if you play me, or maybe you can't reserve any, but I get to let you pick 2, draw 2, pick 1, discard. Maybe there's some cool stuff. That's all I'm saying. It's like a lot of neat room for that.
And they're already manipulating it a lot. We've already, like, Luminara's got some cool stuff. I definitely think they're using that mechanic in a really cool way. And we'll see where it ends up. But yeah, I definitely think that you're right. You can control a lot. Part of feeling like you can control a lot is that there is a high skill cap game.
Yes,
the ceiling is very high.
This is if you and your buddy just push models forward and throw dice and swing sabers, you can have a very good time with it can be very beer and pretzels if you want it to be. But as soon as you run into somebody who, like you're talking about, then it can, like, jumps over you, whack, 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 push, in your middle of nowhere, then he just leaves, jumps back or something, then he's gone. So you can't even rebuke. Like, you go, oh, the first time you get, like, played like that, you realize that the well is deep.
The well is very deep,
deeper than you think. But to finish, I just wanted to hit that because that reminded me that I felt bad because if we gave the wrong impression, I didn't want to do that. But
To be fair, I don't feel bad at all. Y'all can think whatever you want to think. I
That's fair. That's
I've
fair.
done this. I've done this long enough that you all can
However you
think
want.
your things.
Think your thoughts.
I will be okay.
But so his one stance is cold logic. Is it kind of weird how hard he slaps sometimes when he shoots? Does it feel a little weird that Kalani, the support bot, can dole out like 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9 damage if just wants to?
I mean, yes, but so I think this is misleading. Not this line, but I think sometimes you can look at these cards and they are misleading to like how
many you'll get.
How many? Because at the end of the day, this guy only throws like 7 dice at ranged, 8 if you focus. And his expertise honestly is like not that great. With a gun, it's a lot better, but I don't
I was
know.
gonna say, for if you get 2 expertise in there, you're adding 3 successes.
Yeah,
So you kind of like trade up.
Totally. But if you roll like 4 expertise, you're not
it's
just
bad.
like you're kind of
Exactly.
like washing, right? Yeah, I definitely think that there's a lot of damage in the tree. I think it's, for me, I have definitely had a hard time conceptualizing who is a good damage dealer and who is not based on like dice and trees at this point.
Sure.
Just because it's kind of muddled a little bit because of how the system works.
I agree. I think I need to play it more. I know anybody who can just add straight crits is just really good. Crits are just, anytime I see just add a hit, I'm like, oh, garbage. So I see a crit, I'm like, yeah, like Django. Man, Django is. We'll get to him in another episode, but Django's just nuts. He's just so good.
I haven't actually played with Django yet. I think I definitely haven't played with him. I may have played against him once.
He's got his expertise like crits, but he's got this not so fast where if you activate with 3 of them, he can just do something.
Nice.
So he's just you get
like
close
reaction.
To him. Yeah, you get close to him, he can shoot you. Then he can he's got that ability where he gets like force back if he wounds a primary, secondary. He's just like he's a menace, which is good. Like Django should be cool. Django was the first clone, right? Like totally. Not the first clone, but like the protege. So I'd be very upset.
He's the guy, man.
Yeah, I'd be very upset if a bunch of 501st just came up and like punched him to death. Like that feels wrong.
Totally.
But Django's definitely like moved the board, like advanced, jumped, shot me, got something in his track, let him move away again. I'm like, oh my god, this guy won't go away. But Kalani's the ultimate support piece. I can also kind of slap a little bit. But totally. Yeah, 6 dice in melee too. I mean, his defense is really bad in melee, 3. But yes. 6 is like, okay, sometimes you just get 6 hits and here you go. But the last topic, the B1 battle droids. So their tree itself doesn't look crazy, but their abilities and things they can do are pretty good.
Yeah.
So combat AI protocols. After an allied, so I always forget about this when I play them. I always forget this ability, but after an allied battle droid unit makes a combat action, choose one of the targeted characters that is within 4 of all characters in this unit, if able. The chosen character gains a bleed or expose. Free bleed. Here you go. Like, thanks for showing up.
Yep, this is very good. Yeah, it's just value.
Yeah, it's just free status. Well, I guess I'm in charge now. When this unit's order card would be placed in reserve, its controlling player may place it at the bottom of the order deck instead. So speaking of card manipulation, you draw it first, and they're kind of fine. Maybe they're like holding 2 points that you're not real worried about. And you're like, well, if I pull them now, I'm just gonna like hunker and not do anything. Being able to just throw them in the bottom of the deck to know that they're not coming back for a while is powerful. Or anytime you go ahead.
It's interesting because I've actually looked at this as a drawback.
Oh, you think so? That effect that's a May?
I mean, I don't know if it is or not because I haven't really played with them. I've played against them a bunch, but I feel like putting a card on the bottom of the deck because in order to place them in reserve, you still have to pay a force. Like
Yes,
paying
yeah.
a force to not reserve something feels kind of bad.
Okay, that's fair. I know I've had a couple games where they didn't need to go. They were just kind of
Sure.
holding the thing. So when I said, hey, yeah, I'll pay a force just to not see you again, like goodbye.
Yeah.
Then I get to something else I want. But
I could definitely see that. I'm not saying it's bad. I just
yeah,
it feels it
no, it
feels
does.
worse than just being able to put it in reserve, I guess.
Yeah, because you're saying like goodbye forever, right? Like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
there you go. I'll see you later.
Like if you ever actually need to pull them,
They're gone.
they're
Yeah.
light years away,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. They're toast. So I can agree with that. Um, but at least it's an option, which
It is.
is
Yeah,
something at least.
totally.
I hate this job. Which I'm really upset that they didn't put this is the worst job in the droid army, just to keep pulling quotes from my favorite Clone Wars episode.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, while this character, while a character in this unit is contesting one or more active objectives, it has protection, which is great.
Yeah,
Protection is great.
this to me is what makes the B1s kind of busted. Is that they just like it's really hard to kill them if they're on an objective,
Yeah,
frankly.
yeah, they just super don't care.
Yeah, one damage reduction, we already talked about it a little bit with like Mace, is like enough to like not get one shot by like
Yeah.
strong characters. And it's also enough to make getting like the piddly poo shots from support units almost do nothing.
Yes. Yeah. Especially them. If
Yeah.
they're actually pretty bad at shooting at each other, it turns
Yep.
out.
Yeah.
First thing on the track is 1 damage. It's
Mhm.
like, all right. But they do have expose, reposition, bleed, and if you get all the way in, 3 damage. I mean, there's a time you just roll a bunch of hits. Now, note on their expertise for their gun, it's just 1 to 2 add 1 hit, 3 add 2 hits, and 4 add 3 hits. Not criticals. It's important to keep in mind, just hits that can be blocked. Their melee is just you get one, you get one.
They're really
One
bad
hit.
in melee.
Yeah, 1 hit, 1 bash. And then occupation protocols, 1 expertise is nothing. 2 to 3 is 1, and 4 plus is 2 blocks. So they're weird that they're like, if you focus on them, you can crumple them, but it takes longer than you feel like it should because of that protection.
Yeah, it totally does.
Like they just take forever to hack down.
Yeah, that's definitely been my bone to pick with them because they just like it's really hard to kill them unless you're in melee with them. They're good backline objective holders that really can't be shot off.
And sometimes that's what you need. That's all you need.
100%.
Like I've been unimpressed with the 212th support units.
I don't really like the clone support units overall.
Yeah, they're not great.
I mean, like my thing is that I have a hard time remembering their fire support abilities.
Yeah, that's
it's
fair.
not fire support, it's I think concentrate fire, but and I think because of that they feel worse than they actually are.
Yeah, that's fair. Because I forget AI combat protocols a lot. Because I'm always when I have multiple guys, I'm like, oh, this is great. You go over here, you go over here, and then I shoot to your targets. Pew, pew, we're having a good time. But yeah, keeping them close is good, especially with Kalani, especially with Kraken coming. There's gonna be a lot of you could run a droid army, and it almost feels like you're sad when you play your main character.
Yep.
Like, Dooku, I guess you right.
Yeah.
So that's interesting, and I'm wondering if they'll. I guess there really isn't any. Grievous isn't a droid, I don't think.
No, he's not. I mean, like, I don't know what if he's got the droid keyword, somebody messed up on the lore.
Yeah.
Lore side of things.
He's a android, or no, he's not android.
He's like a
cyborg. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah. Tabletop.
There's not a lot of life left in him, but he's in there.
I'm kind of disappointed there wasn't like a right, because he's got the cough in the old Tarkovsky cartoon. He's got the cough because Mace crushed him.
Yeah.
Before he list. I was really hoping there'd be some like so in MCP they do this great thing where it's Green Goblin has just a hatred of Spider-Man. He gets bonuses to attack Spider-Man. If Spider-Man is near him, he has to attack Spider-Man. Like just calls out Spider-Man and Peter Parker specifically. Like Carnage hates Venom.
For sure.
So if Carnage is close to Venom, he has to attack Venom. It's just a neat little like thematic, like, hey, will you always fight, like if you're playing Green Goblin, the odds of you running into a Spider-Man are like mid to low, right? So it's not even like worth the counter pick. It's just kind of like happens to be there. I was hoping there'd be some uh like Mace and Grievous have some beef. But no.
I suspect if they're gonna do something like that, they might be, because like we got a new version of Kenobi, and I assume that we'll get another version of Vader at some point. I think they may have even spoiled the model for the other Vader.
Yeah, they did. It was Vader with the captain and some of the new, like the 501st guys.
Sure.
Not like yeah, they showed him a while ago.
But I think if they're going to do that, since they're doing like new unit cards for people in those like specialty packs, that seems like a great place to do it. Because like, you know, Star Wars is very similar to Marvel in that a lot of the characters have these like one-on-one duels, right?
Yeah.
Give me a Yoda, Kenobi, Anakin, and Dooku pack, please.
Oh, dude, for real. What I really want, if they're going to be down with making these cool, like scenic packs, I'm here for it. If they're cool, like Obi Vader, all right, you got it. Like I liked Obi-Wan on the show. Was what it was, but the beginning and the end
were fine and nostalgic, and it was a fun romp. It wasn't very good.
Yeah, like the beginning and the end were my favorite parts.
Yeah.
And in between was whatever, but that the showdown when they finally first see each other, very cool.
Yep.
Very good. So to make that cool, like I want most of them are Kenobi. I want Maul and Kenobi when they finally meet in Rebels at the end.
Sure. Yeah.
That'd be cool. Like old defeated weak Maul, maybe as a secondary.
Yeah.
And then old man Ben, right before he got like kind of weak. You know, he was like still at the height of his combat training. There's a lot of neat like Ahsoka Vader from like when the thing closes before they start doing time travel in Star Wars. Anyway, that's where they just made up time travel.
I didn't mind that actually at all. I thought it was really cool, but
it's, I don't know, as soon as time travel happens, I'm like, oh, so anything could happen is what you're saying. That DeLorean shows up, like, does Disney own this too?
In fairness, this is Star Wars. Anything can happen, time travel or not.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I don't pitch a fit about it. I don't write angry Facebook posts about why it like destroyed Rebels or anything, but I'm always concerned when that happens. But there's so many cool, just neat packs. When I see the stuff they do with MCP, I kind of get excited that they're willing to make, like, if they're willing to make a scenic pack for Spider-Man Doc Ock, like that's cool. Or Wolverine and Sabretooth, to give them their different like characters and cards. And then the new one, they have the Wakanda coming, the new Wakanda set. I'm like, man, all right, I'm here for that. You know, that's what I want from Legion. I want that. Like, we've got one, the Fated Duel pack. Unfortunately, it's a Gen Con Action Spiel exclusive, which stinks. I'd rather than
don't get me started on exclusive models.
Oh, it drives me nuts.
I don't mind all arts and stuff, but I don't think models should be not purchasable. I think that's.
I would rather, if they're gonna do exclusive models, I'd rather it be, hey, you came to a world qualifier, and if you made top 4, you get this alt art or alt sculpt Ewok pack or something. Like, then hey, so when you see that on the table when you play somebody, you're like, oh,
you know, it's like a prestige thing.
Yeah, it's pretty good. He awarded like Infinity used to do that. If you won events, you actually got alt sculpts, and that was kind of like a cool, like, hey, I'm good at this game, here's the model kind of thing. So I'm down with that. But yeah, when I'm very fortunate that I'm a single dude who just works IT, so I can just go to these events and no one really cares, right? Sure. Like, I don't have a family, I don't have kids, that kind of thing to take care of. So I know I'm very fortunate there. But yeah, a lot of people aren't, and it just kind of stinks that, like, that if they do that again, that kind of set is just not available to everybody.
Yeah, I paid like $200 for a Star Wars Celebration Vader.
Oh, you actually got one? Yeah, I
was like, I can't go to this, but I'm gonna get, like, back in the day, Vader was like all I played. And, I was like, I want that model. It looks dope. But like I would, I would be willing to give you $80 retail if you were to like sell this as like a pack, type deal. But yeah, no, I shelled like $200 out on it. It might not have been 200, it might have been like 150 or something.
Still,
but yeah,
more than
it was
MSRP.
Yes, I mean there is no MSRP.
Yeah,
right?
it's true. That's true. It's
Right?
just whatever anybody wants.
It just, I mean, I guess it was probably like $40 or something at the convention, but yeah, I don't know. I get what they're doing and it builds some hype, but I definitely think I feel like they're leaving money on the table too a little bit.
Yeah. It's just do alt art cards.
Yep.
Those are fine. You get those, you feel like you're there, you feel like you got something. Like I'm doing so we're kind of done Shatterpoint at this point. We'll kind of just we'll wrap it up here, but
yeah.
We're kind of just wrapping right now. So do you have any interest in the Star Wars Unlimited card game?
Maybe. I definitely, they just released a different one, right? It's like a kind of encompassed in its own box.
The deck builder.
The deck builder. Yeah.
Star Wars.
I've been having fun with that. I have a lot of Magic cards. I'm not sure I'm gonna ever get into another TCG. Just from when I say I have a lot of Magic cards, I mean I have like tens of thousands.
Yeah.
Cards, like as many people do that play Magic.
Yeah.
And they're just like sitting in boxes in like one of these closets. And I don't really play Magic a ton anymore. I guess what I'm trying to say is
you don't want to be hurt again.
It's not that I don't want to be hurt, it's just it's a lot of, I find TCGs are wasteful.
Okay.
Yeah. I find like Legion and Shatterpoint, I feel like you're getting these you're getting models, but and like it's obviously like not great for the environment that we're like buying all this plastic stuff, but at least you're always going to be using the stuff that you're buying. Like at a bare minimum, the stuff that you assemble and paint serves as kind of like, it's on my shelf back here. It's kind of like something that like is in my apartment and looks nice. Yes, it makes my apartment look a little nerdy, but it's like, this is on display. This is something I spent hours doing and I can be proud of. And I'm not saying you can't do that with Magic or something like it, but I have 35,000 Magic cards that are in a box. Sitting in boxes that are eventually gonna get thrown away, or somebody's gonna make millions of dollars on them 50 years from now. I don't know. I don't know.
Because so I didn't want to be hurt again, because I bought some Destiny. I didn't go crazy. I bought like a couple starters, and the packs were like $2 or $3, so they're pretty cheap. And then I pulled a Vader, and I'm like, he was like $40 at the time. I'm like, holy crap! And then I never sold him before the game was considered complete. And they just stopped it. So I said we're done making the game. All the value and everything just tanked. 100%. And then like you're out, right? Like you get left holding the bag. So I am very disappointed that it didn't turn into a LCG where you could like, hey, you're playing Han Solo, I'm playing Chewie, and we go through this adventure together, a little deck building action, right? Go through like the Arkham games, the Lord of the Rings games. And so they said, we want to make it a TCG. And then when I was going to Gen Con, I'm like, let's see if I can get to Lorcana. That's the Disney TCG.
Yeah. And I've been looking at getting into that, but I don't want to be hurt again.
Yeah, I know exactly. So all gone, immediately sold out. Can't even touch it. And I'm like, well, I wonder what old Star Wars Unlimited's doing. All available. Like, so I'm like, okay, I may not be the only one to like to be like, I don't know, man. Sure, I'll buy a starter deck or something, and then I'll play it, and then we'll see. So I'll report back after Gen Con if it's even worth anything.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I strongly feel that no TCGs are ever going to, if you're not Magic and you're not Pokemon and you're not like
Yu-Gi-Oh,
Yu-Gi-Oh,
yeah.
and if you're not one of those three kind of pillars, I don't think Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon are very good. And I don't even think Magic is very good for like what a game can be today. I think Magic was very good when it came out, and like, but I actually think functionally Magic is, I've played a lot of, I played Arena for the like latest Lord of the Rings expansion because I like love Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'll get back in and I'll play some Magic on Arena. And I was like, man, the land system in this game just sucks.
Yes.
It's
It's
terrible.
just, yeah,
it's
yeah.
just like a third of your games aren't actually games. It's just you being pissed off that you can't play the game.
Yeah.
And it's bad. It's like
Yeah.
the good Magic games are good games, but they're like, not every game of Magic has the capability of doing that because it's intrinsically got like serious design flaws.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead. I'll let you finish that.
But what I was gonna say in reference to what we were talking about was that like those games are all seriously flawed gameplay games from like how they were designed. And I think like they are standing the test of time because they've been around for so long. They have these giant followings. And these new games just, I don't think they have the time to build that before they get swallowed and devoured by the things that already exist.
I am on record for buying a ton of TCGs that go nowhere. The coolest one I bought was called Hecatomb. It was these pentagon shaped cards, and they had a monster in the middle and an ability on the side, and then you built monstrosities, and so you'd put the next one on top and you'd turn the card so the ability of the first guy could be seen through the bottom of the next one. And you were all evil wizards trying to destroy the world, and then whoever won got to blow up the world the way they wanted to. And I'm like,
that sounds fun.
Yeah, okay. And then so you make these monstrosities, and they were like, yeah, you could play an Eldritch God or something. And they had 2 expansions and then gone. So I threw all my cards out. I kept a couple funny cards. I'm like, toast. I've done that for the Battletech card game. I know that's still kind of around and like leering around the corner. People still keep it going, but I threw those out. So I just can't do it again, but I'll at least go to play. I know this is a really long way of saying I don't know how I feel about Magic Unlimited. I mean, not Magic Unlimited, but Star Wars Unlimited. But I just thought about it when we were talking about like, hey, just do alt cards, because the Star Wars Unlimited, they said, hey, if you come play, we'll give you like a special Vader and Luke. That's the 2 demo sets. Because it plays like Commander, you get a hero, and then you play stuff to make the hero do stuff.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say that it's do that more often. Just give me cards that don't matter. That at least I feel like I was the answer to models. I got way off topics. I tend to ramble.
You're good. But it's Star Wars, and I think we're here to talk about games. At the end of
that's true. But hey, we'll land this plane. We'll sink this ship. I'm Evan. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you next time. I appreciate you. And yeah.
All right. Yep. I'm Mike. We'll see you next time.
This has been The High Ground, a 5th Trooper production.